Had blue sky up there for a second. Woo, there it is. Yeah, yay, blue sky. All right. And now on the brass tacks. How much for the ape? A while. I shouldn't like that so much, but I do. Johnny Depp, what happened to you? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, even though I've never been someone who's used any of those kind of substances, always a favorite of mine. I don't know. It's something about that just total disregard for everything. I don't know. And it's funny because I like it. I mean, I enjoyed the Hunter S. Thompson books that I've read. Obviously, he was a very interesting individual, a lot of ups and downs and sideways as whatnot. And I enjoyed the book, but the movie, something about that movie, just the performances, everything just kind of always gets to me a bit. Okay, where were we? So we're working on regions yet again on regions. All right, so I know there was more I wanted to do. Let's see. Oh, yes. Well, I think I need shapes. I need my shapes. Where am I in my pages? I'm here, 8, 9. Okay, I am saved. Got my example region, but I probably need a shape. Okay, well, what's down here? Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put that under a hex crawl. I think I'm just gonna make a hex crawl 25. I don't know. Let's see. Well, I need got the regions. I need shapes because I need region shapes. Which is here. Oh, and it's got more of that stupid. Yeah, no. Yeah, let's see if I can get all these at once. Turn that off. Ah, no, didn't do it. Did it for that one. Must have goofed somewhere. Uh, Okay, so I'm going to, oh yeah, I gotta fix that stupidity also. What? Why are you doing that? Weirdness. No. Arrow down. I'm gonna copy, I want to copy all of you. I'm gonna copy you. I'm gonna bring you up. So we got regions here. I think, oops. I think I need to insert. I'm putting in a bunch of pages here. I'm gonna have to go through and at some point fix the pages or just get rid of excess pages. But for the moment, all right, we're gonna put this here. We're calling shapes. Shapes and shapes and shapes and more shapes. There we go. Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. I'm gonna. Okay, I need to get all of you. Move you out of the way. Move you over here. I'm gonna make a group. There we go. Groupify you to make it easier. Don't need this right now, so I can get rid of you. Get rid of you. Okay. So what I want to do here is shapes. So region shapes. I've got hex shapes and region shapes. Actually, I've got, well, yes. Okay. Um, yeah. How am I going to do this? The organizational part. Always fun and exciting. region shapes. I wonder if I should, I don't know if I need to put this in, because I feel like the same shapes apply, but I need a little bit extra for a region. I need this kind of table. Let's see. Make space. Okay. How many regional hexes? How many regional hexes? Oh, here's a sip of watered down apple cider for the working man. Is this region? And what is its shape? Should I have different ones? No, because I think they both apply. Regio N. Let's see. Does this region encompass? And what is its shape? Number of hex shapes. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's all right. I think this makes sense. So we're going to, okay, how many regional hexes does this region encompass? I wish I could use, I guess I'm going to use area. I hate using region over and over again. How many regional hexes does area encompass, and what is its shape? And so we've got the shapes over here. Whoops. Got the shapes over here. Can I do that? Okay, no, can't. There is no super full screen. Okay. How many shapes is encompassed, and what is the shape? All right, so we did a number of hex shapes. Right. Roll on roll number roll a number of hex shapes roll for hex shapes roll for hex shapes, and if this is where it starts to get, how do I explain this in an easy way? For each hex shape, yeah, roll of hex shapes. Hey, Terrence. Yes, I am hitting it early and often. Roll the number of hex shapes. How many regional hexes does this area encompass, and what is its shape? Roll the number of hex shapes determined above and fit them together more than one to create the overall shape of the region. For this purpose, ignore the wetlands shape notes, those for local hexes. Roll the number of hex shapes determined above and fit them together, if more than one, to create the overall shape of the region. For this purpose, ignore the wetland hex shapes, wetlands hex shape notes. Those are for local hexes. I don't need to. I think I'll delete that out. Ignore the notes for wetlands because we're not rolling wetlands. And then got my example region here. I can move this down to, I guess, didn't I make this a shape? I mean, a group? Yeah, so I can just roll it all down there. I can bring this down. And then I can, let's see, I'll just copy this over here, copy that. Just move this up here. X shapes. How many? How many hexes? You know, this could actually just be one thing. Really? Yeah. This. I don't need both of those things. Yeah, I know. Going off the page. Going off the page. Everybody's going off the page. Okay. So what we have here. I guess I'll put here local hexes. And we'll make that an inline. There we go. How many hexes does it take? All right. How many regional hexes does the area take? One comes as its shape. Hey, Krister, welcome aboard. All right. So shapes, region shapes, hex shapes. How many regional hexes does this area encompass, and what is its shape? Number of hex shapes: 1, 2, or 3. Roll the number of hex shape determined above. The hex shapes. Also. And fit them together if more than one to create the overall shape of the region. For this purpose, ignore the wetlands hex-shaped notes. Ignore the, I guess I want to make sure that people know. Ignore the local hex note about wetlands hex shapes. All right, so now let's bring up our example. We're going to roll you down here. Now we'll roll. Let's roll some dice. So let's see. First of all, let's see how many hex shapes we're using. I got 4, so that's 2. And so let's see which 2 I got. I got 2 hex shapes. I got a 5 and a 2. So I got a 5 and a 2. So I got, okay. So I got, yeah. I'm going to have to get out of this group. and I got this. So we got these two together. Okay. So now let's put these together. Oops, not like that. Put them together like this. Put them together like that. We could put them together like this or like this. So this is an arid climate. I mean, this is kind of cool. Kind of a shape. But maybe we'll do that. Okay. All right. So we get this. So let's, oops. Group that together. And let's get some woodlands. Let me get a woodlands symbol somewhere. There we go. Maybe a bit big so we can down a little bit. Need a little more. Okay. There we go. Okay. For the shape, hold a 4 for the number of shapes resulting in 2. I rolled a 4 for the number of factors resulting in two individual hex shapes. Ugh. Shapes. I rolled a 2 and a 5. 2 and a 5. I took those 2 shapes and combined them to form shape of this region, which is this. Yeah, I probably could do this. Well, could I do this? Let's see. No, I don't want it inline. Yeah, no, that's not it either. Which one do I want? I want this. Yeah, because I think I want 12 point. Right. Maybe a little bit more. Mayhaps a bit more. What's Oh, I did it on the. Oh, I'm a dummy. I'm a dummy. Not there. Yeah, see it. I think that might be too much. A doy doy. There we go. Okay. All right. arid climate region dominated by woodlands terrain, aka tropical dry forest, that is densely choked with growth. Moderate terrain hazard. The forest is dominated by swarms of biting insects, locusts, weak creatures in large numbers for the shape. Roll a 4 for the number of hex shapes, resulting in two individual shapes. I rolled a 2 and a 5. I took those two shapes and combined them to form the shape of this region. There you go. Okay, and now we have hex shapes, right? So you roll those down together, and if they're great. Great. I think that works out pretty well. Maybe I could find a picture of tropical dry forest where I could plug in there. I don't know if I have any other notes I want to add yet, but is this one bold? That one is bold. Why is that one bold? Oh, that's body. No, it should be. Oops. Apply. I want to get clear. No, I want to clear characters. Is heading one bold? No, it's regular. So why? So weird. Oh, doing that to me again. So weird. Okay. All right. I think that's pretty good. What I'm trying to do here ultimately is kind of make it more of a kind of a cookbook-ish kind of thing. And I don't know if I should put, I guess here's the thing, from a cookbook standpoint, starting with regions, going on to these shapes, and then I guess into individual hexes. There's so much of it where what I'm not sure from the standpoint organizationally what is best to go first. We have all these things. We have regions, we have shapes that can be regions or hexes. We have hexes, and I don't know. It turns me upside down. It spins me round and round. Uh, what I should put first. Should I put local hexes first? Should I put regions first? I think maybe I like this way because this is. I guess I'm just a cookbook. I guess it depends on the cookbooks. Let's say cookbooks tend to not be. They tend to just have everything, but that's or rather they'll go in alphabetical or whatever. And I guess it's true of some cookbooks. Other cookbooks definitely have a more of an, I guess, authoritative approach of here's the basics and then kind of getting onto it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I think I'm just settling with the fact that I'm giving sort of a more of a regimented approach. If here's how I think you should do things, and I'm laying things out in that kind of order. So I think here's this region, do this region thing, set up what this region's like, blah, 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 right? Okay, here is your individual hex. Even though now we're covering hex shapes because I'm under shapes. I think maybe I think I might have to. I'm already having second thoughts about where I should put what I should do things. But I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move right along. So I think I might say that. I guess what I think I'm gonna do is here's a region, here's a hex, and then saying if you want to do more than one regions, if you want to talk about how big a region is, kind of in a bigger scale, then here you can pick shapes. Like here's a simple hex. If you want to pick a shape, here's a shape. Um, I think I might do that, but I'll say I'm not going to go and rework it again. Tara says I need. Darren says I need a bunch of annoying sidebars about the wonderful homemade forest hexes your aunt are. I can't even. Is that Jerry? Gerye? Jerry used to make when I was a child. I wish I had those stores. I wish I had an auntie who was into hex crawls when I was a kid. That would have been wonderful. That would have been absolutely wunderbar. So let's get on to hexes. Let's get on to. I think I'm gonna end up. I feel like I'm gonna end up having to do all these hexes for these different regions. Blah 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 blah. Oh, Gertie. Okay, Gertie makes a lot more sense. How was I doing it? Oh yeah, so you have your overall terrain. So right, if we're doing a single hex, I guess I'm gonna need this bit. Hexes. A hex is a um is an abstraction of landscape or seascape. Yeah. Of a physical area in your campaign world. What climate is the hex in? Hey, okay, got that. We're gonna move these on up here. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. Think I'm gonna have to do it to do it. But now, how do I do? So with a single hex, see something I was doing. Well, let me see. Hold on, let me go down to my hex thing because I actually thought I was quite clever. Clever with doing the water stuff with the shape of the water. But if I'm just doing a single hex, I can't lean on basically. Well, I guess I can because I can lean on wetlands, which would include waters. So yeah, I guess I can do that still. Okay, let me close that up. I don't need that. Let's see. All right, so I've got this. I'm gonna have to do all these. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Oh man. Yeah, 'cause all these are bold and I don't really want them to be bold. Oh, you're gonna keep doing that, aren't you? Every time I have to fix you. Hey, John Luke. What a pro. Not quite, Jean Luc. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Not pro would not be the word I would use for any of this, but thanks. Okay, so this is not going to be that. Oh, wow. I was just bunnying it up. No, you're going to be. Okay, so let's see. Terrain. Oh, nice. Magna said they were working on their tinkering with their hex crawl settings for the first time forever, looking at world without numbers faction rules. Awesome. Yeah, I like World Without Numbers. And World Without Numbers gets a little bit. I guess it's not a bad thing. It's what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot. There's a lot going on. And I think so. It's front. So I guess I would say World Without Numbers. I appreciate it, what it's doing. I think sometimes it's front loading. Maybe it's front loading a lot. I keep saying it's front loading a lot. It's front loading a lot. It is front loading a lot. Maybe more. I guess maybe I would say it's front loading maybe more than I necessarily feel like I need at the front. Because I think it's just inviting you to go down all these rabbit holes of stuff. And a lot of it, well, ultimately useful at some point. It's just like it's not like if you're developing your main, this is the main faction the party's gonna be dealing with, right? Then yeah, that's great. Then all that factional stuff will be immensely useful and a very good tool for digging in there and doing that. But then you're like, well, but then you maybe get to, well, this is a minor faction, and you're still going through all those steps and getting into all this kind of nitty gritty detail. And then, it's just, do I need all that for what maybe amounts to a side quest or a side thing? And you could look at it and say, well, down the line you might, whatever. But then you think, well, down the line I can roll it. Then that like I really think that what do I need now? Maybe what do I need for now? And maybe you'd say now being like now at this session, the next session, because maybe they get further than you think. Or give yourself some buffer room. What do I need for the next two sessions in regards to this faction, this place, this part of the world, whatever. And then just get that ready. And then yeah, sometimes you might run out of runway. You don't build yourself enough runway or enough buffer, and you learn, and that's great. And the world's number stuff is great for prompting stuff, but I kind of would. I think for me, it might be helpful for folks if it was like, hey, if you're just rolling it for a secondary or tertiary kind of group, then just stop after this. I mean, you can always stop, but it keeps inviting you to go further. And I feel like you get into wanting to you want to do all the steps, so you just keep going down and down and down and down, and before you know it, you're building out this whole Bible for people that maybe only are going to show up for a hot minute or whatever. Oh, Magnus also has a stream or video suggestion: how to organize a hex crawler GM binder, a la GFC's D&D binder from a few years back. Yeah, that's a good question. I should organize my binder and then just go through go through that. Um, oh, there is a section in for background actors. That's cool. I must have missed it, or I just forgot about it. Okay, so polar climate. Oh no, I don't need. What do I need? No, I don't need all of this. I will need all of that later. I just need one of these. Yeah, I just need one of these to be polar, which would be, seasonal wetlands. I know there's a name for that. Nope. Where am I going to go? Nope. Yep. Um, can I? There's. What are they called? What are they called? Does anyone remember? Does anyone know? I know I've run up against it, run across it before. Okay, no, 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 no. Types, maybe. Peatlands, no. Oh, here we go. Flooded grasslands, no. Brash, no. Riparian zone. Here we go. Maybe it's here. No. Nope. 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 Gosh darn it. I know there's a name for it. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Magnus says actually use that too. So using the background actors mechanic in Worlds Without Number, to represent two parties vying for control of one faction. Originally, I had them each as a whole faction, but I realized they really represent two poles of one faction. I think Worlds Without Number actually works great for fractal world building, though the organization of the book is a bit deceiving at a glance. Now, Adventure Conquer King, on the other hand, definitely goes hard on the big picture world building first, which I think is a drawback. Yeah, I know. I mean, I should probably look at it again. I like Worlds Without Number as a resource. I missed that background actors. I think sometimes, like I said, it just gives me more granularity than I think I need for a bunch of stuff. Though it's asking good questions and doing that. But I mean, I don't know if it's. I mean, maybe it is an organizational thing. I hear other people have said that, and like I said, I don't use it constantly, so I'm not super familiar with it at this point because it's been a while since I cracked it open. But I think maybe if they organize it and like, here are the vital things, here are the few things you should know. Here are when you're ready to dig deeper, here's what you can get. And like I said, like Magnus saying, hey, if there's a background actor one that gives you that kind of overview, that's great. That's great too. And then kind of help parse that out a bit. Because I felt like, again, and like I said, it's been a little while, that it just felt a little bit daunting, a little bit overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, there's all this stuff. Now, of course, it's a book. It's not forcing you to go through it all. But I think it can play on the mind. I'm not really familiar with Axe, ACKS. I think it's fine to have some. I think you need a little bit of top-down world building at the start. Oftentimes, I think the reason why you don't see more of it is because we have this nice set of assumptions in kind of fantasy fiction. If you can just say to someone, "Oh, this is kind of a Tolkien-inspired world," and then that kind of overall top-down part of the world building is sort of done for you, or this is my version of Forgotten Realms. You go, okay, and this kind of gives you, like a little bit of like what the main powers are, and kind of like, oh, the powers, I mean, like who are like the gods and whatever, and they're this, these are the main species and kind of things like that, right? And I think there's a lot of work done by when we say something about fantasy and kind of a broad that you get that. No, you're not hijacking the stream. No problem, Magnus. But so I think a little bit of that's good. I think again, too much of it, you just don't need it, especially with you don't even know how long your campaign's going to run. If you're writing a book, then all that stuff becomes worthwhile, or at least a lot of it. You can kind of distill from that. But I think the important thing that you can kind of get out of hand with it, you're doing all this world building, and then your campaign falls apart in 2 weeks, something like that, right? So you just don't want to get. At least anyway, I always feel like I want to do the least amount of work to get me the furthest amount of stuff. Magnus says that the book, I think, talking about Worlds Without Number, is not the most logically laid out, and some of the frameworks, like the faction rules, are a little too abstracted for their taste, or maybe just not explained as well as I'd like. Yeah, I should probably look at it again. I remember going through the world building stuff, in particular, all those things, and doing like a sample run through. But yeah, I mean, Magnus talking about doing it, not even having a campaign. Yeah, I mean, world building is its own reward. It's a kind of its own game, much like character generation is kind of its own game. I forget who I was talking to about this, but I'm not a big like character generator guy. But when I was younger, I generated, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of characters, because when I would be, my parents were divorced, and I would spend summers with my father, and none of my friends were around, and I would buy stuff. I remember having early on, it was a summer vacation, so you're there for a month and a half, whatever it is, and end up buying, I think it was the TSR. No, I don't think, I know it was the TSR Marvel Superheroes game, and I spent that whole summer just creating characters, trying to do different things, different concepts, different, point buys, rolling the dice, whatever, and trying to make, if you got something kooky, trying to put it together. But I think the thing is that separates kind of what I feel about it, which is how a lot of other people play, is I never got attached to those characters, and then I didn't come home with a stack of these characters and thinking, I got to play all these guys. It's like I just had fun creating the character, and that was it. And the fun was going through it, and the character itself wasn't precious to me in some way. I feel like where I sort of fall away from the character gen thing is this kind of preciousness, like, I've waited forever to play this character, or whatever. And it's like, there's always more characters. But I think it also depends a lot on, how we're coming to the game and whatnot. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to. Hopefully, I'm not. I'm not trying to throw shade on folks that get really attached. It's just part of the. It's just part of the, I guess, culture that I just don't personally I just don't quite get. But I don't have to because it's not me. I'm not I'm not trying to yuck on somebody's yum kind of thing. But all right, now looking again, I'm down in processes. I know there's a word for these. Maybe I'm not using it. Maybe polar is not the right. Should I use Arctic? Okay, what is this there? I know there are Arctic wetlands. I'm just trying to get the name. There is a name for them. This, I think, is going to be too technical. I'm not going to find this name, am I? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Arctic wetlands from here. Bogs. I mean, no. Lowland. I thought there was just a name. I know there's a name for it. I know I've seen it, but I can't think about it. It's not coming to me now. And it does. Maybe there's not. Maybe I think because maybe I saw a name that was a specific type of name, and I thought it was a funny or a funny. It sounded funny in English kind of name, but maybe I need to. Maybe wetlands is too broad. Was it a swamp? Was it a? There it was muskeg. That was it. Okay, muskeg. That's what I want. So, whew, not insane. But let's see. Are there rivers? There are polar, right? I'm gonna put. I'm gonna keep seasonal. Seasonal. No, yeah, taiga. Taiga's a forest. Yeah. Okay. I might. Well, you know what? I might need to. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna have to. Let's zoom. Okay. Let's see. I don't need all these at the moment. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna copy you. I need to make some. My headings are too uniform in size. I need to fix that, but I'll fix it. Fix it later. Fix it in post. Wait a minute. This is not post. Okay. We'll do terrain, and we'll do wetlands. So I'll put the wetlands stuff here. And now we're going to do, say barren. Yeah. So we're going to do wetlands. I'm going to reverse the order here. I should make these make the dice make more sense. So we're going to go ice, tundra, and I can compact these tables later. Now, ice, tundra, maybe rock, mountain or hills, heights. In the Arctic, I know I was just listening to in the Mountains of Madness. the other day. Are there polar? Hold on a minute. Are there Arctic mountains? There must be, right? Arctic mountains. All right, Wikipedia. Let's see what you got. Arctic mountains. The Arctic Cordillera is a terrestrial ecozone, vast, deeply dissected chain of mountain ranges extending along the northeast flank. Okay, so it's up there. So that would be okay. So yeah, there are mountains. Magnus just listened to a Dr. Seuss styling about the Mountains of Madness. How was it, Magnus? Share a link in the Discord. Uh, I'd love to. I'd love to. I'd love to see it. Okay, we got the terrain. We got wetlands. Do I need to put subtable? Ice, tundra, taiga, mountain, wetlands. I could probably put, if I put tundra, I don't know. Do I need to look again? I would imagine there are hills. I don't like to think of hills. Oh boy. What channel should you drop the link into? Just drop it into drop into cool links. Drop it into cool links because that sounds like a cool link. All right, I'm gonna leave that. Like I need to get a proof of concept kind of thing out here. So I'm gonna leave this as is. So now wetlands. We've got muskeg. All right. If I go backwards, back. Oh, so I opened up a new window. Okay, yeah. Peat. Yeah, so bog, kind of bog, muskeg, that's great. Yeah. And then should I just do 1, 2? Should I do something like this? 3, 4, 5, 6, and just have seasonal river, seasonal lake. Does that make sense? Uh, crevasse, hill, mountain. How's that seem? I think that seems pretty good to me. We've got. I'm going to have to repeat this a bunch of times. I can condense this down, probably do it later. Right. So basically, is the heights going down in some kind of crevasse? Is it coming up in a minor elevation or major elevation change? That's polar. Maybe I'll shrink this down now. 2, 3. I think was that going to mess up the shading? Yep, it did. Because I haven't done these tables properly. Oops. The table thing, the table styles. If you're familiar with, I have not. I've had. I've had a lot of issues trying to get this to work. Okay, edit default. So we got this. Okay, is that how we're supposed to do it? Uh, I can't figure it out if it's this. All right, let's do this. Close that for right now. Oh, what are you doing to me? Oh, cell. There you go. There we go. I knew I should have done this another way. That would not upset the apple cart. But there we go. Back to it. Okay. Okay, so we've got polar climate, terrain, ice, tundra, taiga, heights, sea subtable, wetlands, sea subtable. I guess I should. Move these in order of they appear. Now I can. Can I get another one of these on the table? I mean, on the page? I think I can. Okay. And then the next one up would be highlands. Terrain type, heights, yeah. Cool temperatures, high altitudes. What do we know? What do we know, folks, about the highlands? Do we know anything? The answer is no. The major highland regions of the world: the Cascades, Sierra Nevadas, the Rockies. Okay, but not the Highlands of Scotland. Not where the. Are you telling me that the Highlander is not actually from the Highlands? It probably is. It's not actually telling me that much. That's nice, but not enough. Need more. Highland temperature, climate. Oh, there's not that much. Really? The Highland temperate climates. In general, okay. There's monsoons. Too much. All right, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into it. It's not worth it. So from here, well, I just want to know. Yeah, it's kind of like I just want to know, like, what is the? No, that's not it. What is the? Like grass versus, or doesn't even matter. Might not even matter. Climate temperatures are cool all year. Okay, precipitation. Basically, it's highland forest. besides wooded savanna and scrubs. Oh, okay, let's see highland forest. See, you got to read more carefully, folks. No, not a park. That is not what they want. That is incorrect. Uh, no. All right, so we're talking forest, wooded scrubland. So not much grass. I'm going to keep grass in there. All right, terrain. So how do we want to do this? All right, so we're going to have grassland, woodland. Do I want to do? I mean, obviously we're in the Highlands, so I feel like 4, 5 should be the heights, and then 6 should be wetlands. And I'm thinking now that I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I might just only need one heights subtable because I'm not going to have different. I might do that, but I'll keep this like it is for now. Swamp, swamp, river, lake. Okay, all right. We're we're cooking with gas. I have to rewrite that because that doesn't apply to what I'm doing here. Maybe I'll have to move. I can. Yeah, I don't feel like this doesn't actually need to be up there. Let's move some of this around because I could use the space. But I also need to add some padding to the top of the top. Yeah. Okay. Do that much. Move this text down here. Should I just go ahead and rewrite this text now? Okay, using the climate zone guide terrain type for the hex. Oh, look at that. Added an E to an if and got elf. Oh, it looked like elf, but that is an I, right? Not a typo. Yep, okay. Good to know on that score. That goes there. And then we can pull down puller. We can pull up bounds up here, which means we have room for another one. Yeah, I know I should. You know what? I'll leave it alone. I'll come back and do that later. Not important at the moment. Okay. Okay, so we've got Highlands. Now we got to do Continental, which should be. I went all through the thing to do muskeg, and I think I'm gonna put swamp and wetlands. I think just in their own because I think I'm going to end up repeating it. I'm not. I feel like these two are going to basically remain the same. So I did that work to find out muskeg, which I still like, and I'm probably going to just put it out and just say, see the wetlands, see the wetlands, see, um, you know, see below for wetlands. All right, continental. And that's just kind of the if you're here in Western Europe or musk laid this egg. Bum. Yep, it's a musk egg. Yep, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. So I see it's got. Can't. Well, I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. No, let's maybe like that. I wonder if temperate will be. See, now my original thing was I wanted to get more. I wanted to get a little drill down and get some. But I don't have names for everything. Like, is Highland? I guess I'll look it up. So, grasslands in Highland climate zones. Climate zones of the world. So they use just 1, 2, 3, 4. So they use 5. Uh, yeah, it's too basic. What is the vegetation in the highlands? Yes, what is the vegetation in the highlands? Muskegs, your favorite bog type terrain? Yep, I was talking about muskegs. High isolation, low temperature, high precipitation. Oh, montane forests. Alpine meadow. Tropical moorlands. Oh, they don't give me any. All right, well, that's the kind of specificity I want. But then, I got 6. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Do I want to? But I also don't want to confuse people. They have to start looking things up. Brian lives near a city named after the muskeg. Is there just one? The muskeg? The one and only muskeg? Let's see. So I might have to undo these and just go. Or maybe I'll call them barrens. It's really, I don't even know. It's probably worse. I mean, I feel like being up in the ice in the Arctic has got to be actually worse than the desert. Muskegon. Huh. As in on the muskeg. Interesting. That's cool. And is it really because of that? All right, now I got to look it up. Muskegon, Michigan. I'm not trying to book a trip. Just want to. Okay. Muskegon. Is that how you? So is it Muskegon? Is that right? Muskegon. Muskegon is a city in the county seat of Muskegon County, Michigan. Am I pronouncing that long? Okay, Muskegon. Let's see. All right, history. The name Muskegon is derived from the Ottawa Mashkegong, meaning marshy river or swamp. So yeah, this I believe that is also what muskeg comes from, right? No, not I just already had that open. Oh, and it's from the Ojibwe Mashkeg, Cree Muskeg. So how do you pronounce it? Fondrière de Mousse. Fondrière de Mousse, as the French would call it. Oh, funny. Doesn't it's funny here because here we get the Ojibwe Mashkeg, Cree Muskeg. I don't know if that's a long I. French Fondrière de Mousse. Okay, but yeah, I guess it comes from the same thing. Muskegon River. There's a giant musky monument. Too much musk going on here. Muskie Monument? There's a Muskie Monument? All right. I don't know if I want to know about the Muskie Monument. I'm sure it's cool. Okay, wetlands type. Yeah, I think I'm going to just, yeah. Grassland woodlands. Heights. Haywald, Wisconsin? Giant muskie. All right. What is going on here? Muskie Monument in Haywald. Oh, there it is. Is the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame? Wacky, Wisconsin. Whoa. If you're heading up to Northwest Wisconsin with kids or happen to be passing through the charming city of Hayward, you'll want to make a stop at the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame. I don't mean to laugh. My uncle was super into fishing, not like competitive fishing, but he was a fisherman's fisherman. He'd get a kick out of this, but it's better known as the Muskie Museum, thanks to the 143-foot long, 4-story Muskellung sculpture that serves as the destination centerpiece. One thing's for sure, you're a long way from Milwaukee. Guess what? I'm a longer way from Milwaukee right now. Plan to spend 60 to 90 minutes walking around the museum grounds, which are decorated with well-kept gardens, memorialized benches, and giant fish sculptures. Okay. You could climb the stairs of the giant muskie and take photos at the top, where you can even touch the teeth and get a nice view of the museum grounds and surrounding area. The sculpture is actually the world's largest muskie sculpture. I mean, I don't know how many there are, but that would be a safe bet. Though we're curious how stiff the competition is for this category, which is what I was thinking. Inside the giant muskie's belly, you'll find old fishing rods, no wheels or motors, rare and collectible lures, and other fishing artifacts. There's also a small playground for kids that need a little TLC, but includes a fish, seesaw, a swing, and tunnel. Inside the museum building, visitors can learn about legendary anglers, world record muskellung, old-fashioned commercial fishing equipment, and more. Walk through the quote-unquote motor graveyard, which includes motors as far back as the 1920s, and peek into an old fishing shack recreation. Don't miss the World Records Gallery, where you'll find hundreds of pictures from decades past of proud fishermen and women with their prized catch. After your visit, you'll want to head into downtown Hayward and walk along Main Street. The old-fashioned candy store is a must-visit. Shears Lumberjack Village is a great spot for miniature golfing. Hayward Amusement Center has go-karting, a rock-climbing wall, and more. Hayward, Wisconsin is home to the world-famous American Birkebeiner cross-country ski race held every year in February, and the Lumberjack World Championship held every year in July. Wow. Well, there you go. little trip tourism trick tourist trip to Hayward, Wisconsin, home of the largest musky. What are they calling it? The largest musky sculpture. Yeah, I don't know how what the competition like for that. I mean, but they did it big enough that it's going to take a while for anyone to pass it. Because even if you decided to, what would be a fun thing is, I guess if you could do this, and maybe this is why you find these weird things in places because you go to the world's records and you look for like world's biggest what, and someone says, "Well, our town needs something. We got nothing here. How big's the world's biggest ball of twine? There isn't one. Let's call up Guinness." And then, but we can't just make one small because then someone will just make a bigger one. So we got to make one that's pretty huge, but it just exists here. So, and I guess if you could tie it into a theme of the town, like I guess this one has with fishing, then all the better. Magnet says their town is the world's biggest nothing. Yes, the world's biggest nothing. I mean, maybe your town has other stuff, like Studio B, the town over there does not boast world's biggest anything. It's just a quaint town. But sometimes, like you get up into Massachusetts in the hill country, and there's quaint towns are a dime a dozen. So I can definitely see wanting to differentiate yourself a bit. But it seems like these guys, they kind of nailed it, right? They've got the world's biggest muskie sculpture, and they have the within the what they call it, the freshwater fishing hall of fame. They also have cross country ski race, and they have the lumberjack world championships. So they're swimming in it. The folks running this town have really got their tourism game down. Megan says they should build a skyscraper, the world's largest skyscraper in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, the whole town has relocated inside the one skyscraper. That would be kind of funny. I like that. You're a long way from Milwaukee. But okay, so the website is called Milwaukee with Kids. So now that line makes a lot more sense as I look at that. Because before I was like, yeah, you are a long way from Milwaukee. Yep, for sure. Okay. All right. What am I looking at? What are we looking at here on time? I got a little bit. Yeah, Judge Dredd. What was it? City. What do they call it? Something. What was it? It wasn't City One, but it was something like that. Or what was that? Was it Indonesian movie, The Raid? I mean, I know the whole town wasn't inside one building, but basically the whole movie is someone running a Mega City One. Yeah, Continental virtual trip to the hallowed grounds of Wisconsin. Yeah, so, yeah. I mean, I'd like to go to Wisconsin because I'd like to do a Gary Con and some. I know there's a couple of cons down that way. It's a kind of a pain to get to. At least was it Lake Geneva is kind of a pain just from where I am. I know that if you're in Chicago or somewhere in the Midwest, it's a lot more convenient, especially if you're driving. But man, it's a bit of a reach. I know Daniel's going to be driving there, but maybe next year. It's always next year. All right, so I got a couple more climates left, but it's kind of going to be a lot of just fiddling with these numbers a little bit, really. And then maybe I'll have a table with some of the different what the different what the different things are. Or I could put those with it too. I gotta think about it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering. Yeah, it's a good question because I wonder what the easiest road. I haven't looked. Well, let me see. If we look it up, what just out of curiosity, let's see. What do we got? Map is MapQuest still a thing? We still got MapQuest. So if I go from New York City, New York, sure, and I'm gonna be Now let's start in here, and I'm going to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Yeah, so it's not too well, not too bad. 12 hours and change. I was thinking that actually. Brian mentions going through Canada. It seems like you could kick up this way, but I don't think it's any. It doesn't seem like it's faster, though. I wonder if, well, one, as I've discovered at last this past year's Claricon, the border is not as fun and is not as zippy fast as you might imagine. So you can get stuck up here for a ways. And I don't know if you if you come up this way, you end up having to just circle back, do this kind of loop. Um, it seems like, yeah, like we don't get caught having to go around the lake too much, a little bit, and then up. I mean, I don't know if there's ferries, but it seems like this is pretty, it's pretty big. So you just kind of got to zoop around. So yeah, it seems like you can kind of veer sort of north ish, or you can kind of start south and then up. Dread is criminally underrated. I agree. The movie, that is. Howard Hughes says they drove to Gary Con last year, 13 plus hours from South Carolina, flying to Chicago this time. Yeah, I think it seems like the way to go if you're, for what I've heard, is that though again, it's just a little bit of a pain. You fly into Chicago and then drive up from Chicago. Or Uber. Like, I think some people have even done kind of Ubering and things, right? So you bounce into Chicago and then you look up there like that. And I think that's what a fair amount of people do. It's just a pain because there's the Lake Geneva's here, and then I guess you could you could fly into Milwaukee. You got to kind of do the same thing. Seems like Milwaukee might be closer, but maybe the flights aren't as good. I guess there's Madison too. That's kind of not that bad. Where's Green Bay? Oh, Green Bay's way up here. Okay, so that's not a good one. Yeah, it really seems like if you can get to Milwaukee, that's a lot closer than Chicago. Yeah, Green Bay. I thought Green Bay might have been closer, but yeah, it's way up here. So it seems like Madison, Milwaukee, you got to kind of get into one of those spots and do it. Or, you can do the 13-hour drive. I just wish it was a little bit more convenient. But what are you going to do? People live up there, and that's where one of the founders lived. So we got to visit the shrine of the founders. So I'm down someday. Oh, get out of here. Okay. I think I've got so I think I'm going to call this a stream. I feel like I got some good ideas, good ways of breaking this stuff out. There's a significant price increase to flying to Milwaukee. Interesting. Now you know what, you got me thinking again. I mean, I'm not going this year, so it's not like this is gonna. I can't afford it. Can't afford to go. But let's just say what is it? Kayak still around? So I'm trying to fly New York City. Let's see, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. When's Gary Con? Gary Con is all right. So we'll say 20th to the 23rd. So we'll just say, yeah, March 19 to the 24th. One adult. Yes, economy. Is that doing something? No, it's not doing anything. I don't want Milwaukee hotels. Guys, such slime. All right, so it's still going. All right, so from New York City to Milwaukee's, where's the cheapest? Geez, 15 hours on Spirit. Oh, on Spirit. Yeah, that'll be a negative. That'll be a negative on that one, Ghost Rider. This is round trip. Yeah, I did round trip. I'm guessing this is per flight, right? Or is it? Oh, this is a Delta. That's the great. I think that the smaller cities are kind of a pain because they just don't have a lot of flights. Just keep me in basic. Thank you. I just want to see basic. So yeah, no, that's it. It's a Spirit Airlines, so named because you need the Holy Spirit to bear the plane safety. Yeah, yep. So yeah, so $268. So of course now, look, you look at this. Wow, this is good. But remember, we also have to rent that car. So whatever flight you get, you also tack on top the fact that you're renting a car. And I don't know how much that costs. Obviously, you could get some kind of super compact. So now let's just see. Now I bet you that uh, I bet you it will be cheaper to Chicago only because I imagine Chicago's got more. And I think this is probably why people end up flying in Chicago. It's just you got a lot, huge airport, lots and lots of, it's a hub kind of spot. Oh, I hate that where you're like under over. $87, $101. But I don't even know. Again, it's Spirit, so I would want to probably stay away from those like the plague. But you take your chances. All right, so just ordering it, getting rid of looking. What's the first non-Spirit one? JetBlue, $125. Gosh damn it, Spirit again. Get the can I get Spirit? No. Get Spirit out of here. All right, 172 buckaroonies. Hey, Howard, I appreciate it. Ugh. Unfortunately, I'd love to go, but I just can't. I gotta be fiscally responsible. Um, and I don't make enough on the channel and anything up to to recoup what I already spend, let alone trip out to Gary Con. The nice thing about some of the cons I've gone to recently is that I don't have to stay anywhere, or you can kind of drive, share things. So that kind of, Claricon, share the car with and share the room with Daniel. At ShireCon, I can basically stay home essentially. Same thing with Arcane Con. PAX is the most expensive one but it's in Philly, so at least it's close. I could drive, though that is a pain itself, but it's got the train, which is pretty cheap. So then it's kind of hotel, and I get kind of the press. I can do the press pass, so I don't have to pay for the con itself. I just got to get there and stay. Right. So I have the cons I'm doing so far, the ones that are kind of the most reasonable for me to afford. And I'd like to do more. I just got to get things going to the point. So, if obviously don't buy stuff if you don't need stuff, but if you need one of the things I put out, that helps. Obviously things like, Patreon, which I have Patreon supporters, I never thank them enough. That stuff helps. Channel memberships, that kind of stuff helps. Maybe in a year or so I'll be able to at least figure out a plan and make it happen somehow, because I do want to go. I would love to do more cons and run more stuff, but I just gotta figure out a way to make it work in the 21st and a half century. But okay, all right, I gotta. You know what? I'm actually running. We don't have a full group tonight. Tonight's Thursday. Tonight's my game night, and I volunteered to run some kind of one shot something, and I have no idea what I'm going to run. I got to think about that. I probably could have done that as the stream, but I don't even have my act together enough to know what I should be working on. I might just run my escape adventure. I could run it again because I have some ideas for things I want to update to it. So maybe I'll just run that. But we'll see. I'll probably talk more about it on the flip when I've actually got stuff to talk about. But folks, thanks for hanging out. Have a great rest of your day, night, whenever you end up watching or listening to this. Game on, everybody. And I will talk to you later. Bye now.